People of Earth, we come in peace.
Welcome to this neighborhood, neighbor.
I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of central Iowa, welcome to Max World Live. Max World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Max World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Max World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
Afternoon 4:06 on the 22nd day of March in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is hour number 2 of 2. So we're heading to the best is yet to come part of the show because Chris is gone. Tom Coates in the studio with us today, of course, as he always is on Tuesday. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the text in the chat. Frank is producing, but he also has his microphone on. Good for us. The phone numbers you can reach us at is 515-244-0077. That's your voice I want to hear on our in-studio hotline. And our Service Legends Truth Text line is 515-809-0993. Before we get to my special guest, Senator Jake Chapman, I want to check in with my buddy Brad Zahn, who, by the way, just announced he was running for re-election. Congratulations, Brad.
Hey, thank you very much. Good to be with both of you, even though it's on the phone.
Well, that's okay. You know, phone's not bad, and we all know what you look like, your smiling face. So I just want to check in with you, and how does it feel to be on the Republican establishment's blacklist?
Well, it doesn't bother me a bit. I'm always on their blacklist. So you got another guy that's sitting in a chair, I think, about to be interviewed. I think he's the best state senator, Jake Chapman. But
sure is a brave man, isn't he?
He can tell you sometimes, you get on the blacklist, or I was raised, and Jake's the same way. You do what you think is right for the people you represent, regardless of party or political pressure.
And you're on a blacklist because you have publicly come out and supported Donald Trump.
Yep, that is what I've been told. I did get a Google alert on that and kind of saw it on my phone, but it doesn't bother me a bit. I've gotten a few nasty emails nationally. Of course, I guess I didn't realize until I got involved with his campaign at the beginning, I was told I was the only elected official to endorse him, and now you can see that list is expanded.
Yeah.
But in Iowa, I believe I'm the only one that has endorsed him, and I got a lot of positive responses, and it was really interesting when Donald Trump announced that endorsement through Twitter and Facebook. I mean, you were talking millions of people that follow him, and got 99% positive feedback. And, of course, you're always going to have a few people that are upset with you.
Yeah, squeaky wheel always gets the oil. Now, quite frankly, and this is my statement, this is not the opinion of Brad Zahn, Tom Coates, or anybody else in the studio. My opinion is the establishment's never been kind to you anyway.
No, I mean, I could write a book about brokered conventions.
Yeah, right.
Certainly.
Hello, David Young.
Yeah. But, that's fine. Like I said, you make decisions based on why people sent you to be a public servant. This isn't supposed to be a full-time job. It's public service. And I've always been independent and do what I want to do. Obviously, I'm very conservative. But there's times when Republicans are wrong, and there's definitely times when the moderates of the Republican parties are wrong. And so... you just do what you do, and I was involved with Governor Walker's campaign at the beginning, and then I get a phone call from Donald Trump asking me to support him, which I was really surprised. So then I had a couple different opportunities to sit down with him and really drill into what he wants to do, rather than talking points, and he satisfied everything that I thought.
Yeah.
The big thing for me is that he was financing his own campaign.
Yeah, I like what Ben Carson said, and I don't think Ben's ever lied a minute in his life. He said there are two Donald Trumps. There's the one that's out on the political campaign behind the microphone, wishing up the crowd.
Right.
And then there's the guy at home that you sat down with, that he sat down with. And the media wanted to get all crazy about that, but we all play different roles. You know, I go home today, and I'm a nursemaid and a husband to my wife. On Sunday, I'll be a grandpa, I'll be a dad, and I'll be a cook. We all play different roles.
Right. Well, there's no doubt about it, and I wish everybody had the opportunity to witness what I've done in my personal interactions with Donald Trump. He is a completely different person. I mean, look at what he's done here with his campaign. I mean, the guy has spent very little money, and it certainly has sucked all the media attention up. And there's a mission and certainly a strategy involved, and very happy that he's with his performance yesterday. And he is certainly, I think, going to be a great president.
Kind of spooky that he predicted just a month and a half ago that Brussels was ripe for an ISIS attack, and here today we have 30 dead and 200 injured.
Yep. You know what? I certainly think there's a couple times or a few times where maybe I'm not real happy about what he says, but it is refreshing to have someone out there that just tells it the way it is and makes the predictions that he does.
Yeah.
And this isn't the only prediction he's made that he's been correct on.
Well, the next prediction, we'll find out if it's true or not, and that was whether he'll be president.
Yep, we'll see what happens.
Brad, thanks for taking a few minutes out for us today. You're always welcome, and remember, he has risen. Yes,
he has risen indeed. Listen, you got the best senator in the Midwest with you next. Jake is incredible. He sits just catty-corner from me. I watch what he's done. He's grown. I think you're looking at a future governor or future U.S. senator.
Well, I don't know the man at all, other than Reka Basu doesn't like him, and that makes him a great friend of mine. So anybody that Reka Basu doesn't like, I think I'm going to fall in love with. So
I was telling him when that article came out, but he still has someone to beat, and that's the person that has the most thorns with the Des Moines Register. And
that's right.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think between you and I and Tom, we topped that. Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, Senator Brad Zahn giving us a few minutes today in the busy legislative schedule as he has been put on a conservative establishment blacklist. And, when I heard that, I thought, there's somebody the establishment has never helped. They have never come behind him in any race that he's ever done.
You're right.
So he ought to be blacklisted.
Well,
at least it shows his true colors, and that is he's not going to bend to the establishment.
Well, and I said this, Mac. He was years ago when we were trying to keep the slot machines out of Prairie Meadows. He was the only elected official in the whole metro area that would go on the record and go to go in front of the cameras and the microphones and say he opposed it. That was when he was the mayor of Urbandale. And so that showed you right there that he was not afraid of the establishment and the big money, and he's been that way ever since, and that's why I respect him. I mean, we can have disagreements from time to time on certain issues, but you got to respect a guy like that's got that kind of backbone. And You're right, he's never been a darling of them, but again, much of what makes this state go right now is the big gambling money.
Yeah.
They've got an army of lobbyists, and they've got a lot of clout. And Brad's not been afraid to stand up to that either.
Yeah, much like Donald Trump. All right, Brad, thank you for taking your time. All right, Senator Jake Chapman is our guest today, and I don't know you. I met you for the first time like 20 minutes ago. What area are you from?
Well, I'm from Adel.
Adel.
And I represent Senate District 10, which includes Polk City and Polk County, a good majority of Dallas County, excluding some of the metro area with West Des Moines and Waukee. I also represent Adair County, Guthrie County, and the northeast corner of Cass County.
Okay.
So, wide range of issues.
Did you say Webster County?
Guthrie and Adair and Cass, part of Cass.
All right, and Guthrie. All right. All right. So you and Ed Wilson up there in
That's right.
Guthrie County. All right. And so, how old are you?
I'm 31 years old.
And what do you do for a living?
My family owns several healthcare companies. I'm the chief operating officer for one of those businesses, which is a private ambulance service.
All right, and you're married?
Married, have 5 children.
Holy Toledo! Are
Been
you
pretty busy for a young fella.
Well, they
Unless they came in 2 and 3 at a time.
No twins, no triplets. They range from about a year and a half on up to almost 9 years old. So my wife is fantastic, and we're really blessed to be able to have her home with the kids and taking
What's
care
her
of
name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. All right. Well, Jennifer, I hope you're listening. I like your husband so far. So 5 kids. How many boys and girls?
I've got 4 boys, 1 girl.
And when your wife was carrying them to term, at what point did you know they were a boy or girl?
Well, let's see.
Can't they tell you in
they can
10, 12 weeks?
It's incredible now. If the baby cooperates and is in the right position with the ultrasounds, you can tell very early on whether or not they're going to be a boy or girl. And
medical science is amazing.
It is.
It's too bad. And by the way, the opinions of J. Michael McCoy are not those of Senator Jake Chapman or Tom Coates or Bob Montserrat. However, Frank agrees with me completely. If these low information voters, if these progressives, these Democrats, I don't care what label you want to give them. You'll call them friends across the aisle. I will not. I don't have to. If they just look at science. I mean, they want to tell us that we have evolved from monkeys and Darwin was a scientist and science proved it. But then we show them science and they don't. Anyway. This is one of my buttons, by the way.
I think you have a point because really we can debate the spiritual side, the religious side as to when a spirit enters the body and that type of thing. But there's people who truly are ignoring the scientific fact as to when life begins.
Yeah.
And so as medical advances have come further, it makes it very easy to understand when life begins, and that's at conception.
All right, well, a few weeks ago, Senator Jake Chapman from District Number 10 gave a passionate speech from inside the legislature. He was called out on it. Des Moines Register, Reka Basu just raked him over the coals. And so he's going to get a chance here to tell you what the truth is, because that's what you're listening to. 99.3, The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
'Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5.
21 minutes after 4 o'clock on the 22nd day of March in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. This is Max World Live here on The Truth, 99.3. For the rest of the week, we're going to focus on Holy Week. I've got Luke Tim from...
No, I can't help you, Mac.
Living Waters. No, that's not right. Anyway, from a Lutheran church here in town. That's embarrassing. And he's going to preach out of the book of Luke. And we're going to talk about... Palm Sunday to Easter.
Okay.
And then Davey Bloom's coming in, and he's going to take Matthew. And then Tom Clegg is coming in on Friday, and we're going to talk about John.
Well, and you're going to be doing the delayed broadcast on our Iowa Prayer Breakfast on Thursday morning.
Yep. We're going to record the Iowa Prayer Breakfast Thursday morning and play that back on Sunday on Tamara Scott's show, Sunday at noon. And if you haven't got a ticket yet or got a seat for the Iowa Prayer Breakfast, Martin Luther King's niece will be our guest speaker. It is at Community Choice Credit Union Veterans Memorial Auditorium. You need to kind of be there by 6:30, maybe a quarter of 7, not much later on Monday, Thursday, and you'll be out of there by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And it's a great gathering. How many people do you think you're going to have this year?
We already had pre-registered when I saw the count last week at just under 1,000. So
Wow.
the venue max out at 1,200. So we'll be up against it. We always have a slight wiggle room in there, so if somebody wants to sneak in late, we can probably sneak them in and so forth. But we're getting up, so we regularly do over 1,000. It really picked up. Remember back when Branstad came back in, we had Don Piper, 90 Minutes in Heaven, as our speaker. And big, 7 million copies of his book sold, didn't hurt at all. But we got up to over 1,000 on that one, and we've really not looked back since. He really kind of set a new bar.
It's a great gathering. Can you tell us who's singing this year? A lot of times you have the Des Moines Christian Band or the choir.
Yes, we have some excellent musical talent every year, and I'm not involved in that area, and I probably heard at the last meeting, and I don't remember, Mac. I'm like you. I don't remember.
You're not singing like the Star Spangled Banner or God Bless America?
That request has not been made. I'm sure I could accommodate them.
Yeah, I don't think so. Earplugs will be handed out on your way into the event. All right, Bob Montserrat is monitoring the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. It's your voice I want to hear. You can text it or you can call me. 515-244-0077. Should abortion be a hate crime? What, you say? You haven't heard of this yet. Well, then you probably haven't heard of Senator Jake Chapman from District 10. What do you call this? Is this when you talk and that you don't stop? There's a term for that.
Filibuster?
Was that a filibuster?
No, it really wasn't. It's remarkable what happened.
Tell us the story.
Look, okay, so we had a bill filed by Senator McCoy that would have added transgenders into our hate crime law. As a minority member, there's 26 Democrats, 24 Republicans. Every time we have filed pro-life legislation, and every time the House has passed bills, it comes over to the Senate and it dies. Yeah. It gets stuck into a drawer, pushed away, and we never get to even have debate. So we had this bill that Senator McCoy had, and dealt with hate crime. And so as a minority member, oftentimes what we do is we file amendments to those bills to try pushing forward our legislation. And so I had the opportunity to file an amendment that would have also classified unborn persons as a hate crime. I was giving my opening remarks on my own amendment, which, of course, is the rules of the Senate, and I think it was probably 3 times Senate Democrats interrupted and called a point of order. What they tried doing was using procedure to block my ability to speak on the amendment. What's really remarkable here is since Roe v. Wade, roughly 56 million plus babies have had their voices silenced. And the day I stood up to talk on this issue, you can see what kind of procedure they tried using to once again attempt to silence the voice of the unborn. And I wasn't going to allow that to happen. And so I continued to push on. They would call another point of order. I'd make my point that certainly it's relevant. Look, I went into some graphic detail as to what abortion is. It's not, and I even started off with a quote by George Washington that truth will ultimately prevail when there are pains taken to bring it to light. It wasn't something I was looking forward to. It wasn't something I enjoyed doing, standing on the floor and trying to explain what abortion really is. It's gruesome. It's very graphic. But once they realized I was not going to back down, a number of them, Senate Democrats, stood up and walked out of the chamber.
Did Matt McCoy do that?
Actually, Senator McCoy did not walk out of the chamber. This was his bill, so it was important for him to stay for the debate. But ultimately they ruled that my amendment was not germane, basically saying it has nothing to do with the bill, which is in and of itself remarkable that adding 2 words literally into the bill was ruled not germane. That's another procedure, another gimmick they use to not vote on amendments or bills they don't want to. So that's what happened. But following that, you pointed out, Reka Basu and a number of others have been very critical of my efforts. In fact, I think,
didn't they do a lead editorial against you too?
Yeah, we've had a number of articles in the Des Moines Register. She points out that this was offensive. It was offensive, and I actually have her statement right here in the article. It says that it was a measure to make abortion a hate crime under Iowa statute. Quote, a hate crime against a group that doesn't even exist in society, the unborn.
I know.
Is that amazing?
I put that on my Facebook page. I talked about it on the air.
Well, they also act like the whole thing with Planned Parenthood that came out this last year was just a lot of makeup, smoke and mirrors, things taken out of context, greatly edited, and of course the reality was it was not.
It was not.
It was the reality of them selling off baby parts to the highest bidder. We had the evidence, and it was in its entirety on their website, only edited down for time constraints, the stuff that was released out, and it was not taken out of context. And yet they want to act like that was just all fantasy, guys.
And then in Texas, they arrested and found them guilty of what? What?
My understanding was
hit and run journalism?
Look, that's what the left does. When you bring truth to light, what do? They fight back. They argue. They call you stupid. You're Senator Chapman. You're naive. You don't understand. You're trying to protect a group of people that don't exist.
Or they walk out, or they create a ruckus like they do at some of these Trump events now.
That's right.
And they try to stop freeze. There was an interesting cartoon. Even though the stuff in the paper is not very good most of the time in the editorial, they do have good cartoons. And the cartoons today was protesting. It's what he protested. It said free speech. If it's not my speech, if it's something opposed to my speech, I want to stop it, whether it's on the college campus, whether it's in the newspaper, whether it's in Washington, D.C., or whatever. And that's what they're trying to do to you. They're trying to act like the whole life issue, which now, guys, the majority of the American public believes, as we believe in essence, that there is life in there, and it is wrong under most circumstances to stop it. So they have lost the debate in the public square, much of what you talked about. And Mac asked you earlier about the sonograms. Now, I've got 7 grandkids, and you've got 5 kids, and I've met my grandkids now before they were ever born within the sonogram. And the young people, they see this as not a blob of tissue. They see it's life. They understand that, even though they've been indoctrinated on some of the other things of our culture. They see the evidence of their eyes and their senses. And so the left has lost this argument, and they're still desperate to shut you up.
30 minutes past the hour, we're going to go to our call-in line at 244-0077. Tim is standing by. Tim, welcome in Mac's World. What you say?
Well, I say Senator Chapman is a hero. When I was up there a couple days up at the House, or up at the Capitol, I had senators coming up saying, "Did you see the video? Did you see the video?" So I have now seen the video, and I guess I think I'm gonna share this on our website at firstnoteiowa.com. And this is the type of stuff that they want to shut you down because they don't want the truth out there. They know if we put the truth in their face, they are unable to deny it. You know, what's the line about you can say you didn't know until you do know. Once you know, you have no excuse. So Senator Chapman, bravo. Things like this might actually get you elected governor, so you may want to be careful.
Tim, thanks for the call, and make sure you put it on. Put this show on Personhood Iowa 2 on Facebook, would you? It'll be probably ready by 5:30, and you can find it at Mac McCoy, MacMcKoy.com, or you can also go to 993thetruth.com and go to shows, click on Mac's World Live, and it should be the last show, or the first show, I guess, posted there, because I think it's important for people to hear all of Senator Jake Chapman's story.
Will do. Hey, Senator, just so you know, not only have you made the Rika Basu hit list, but I'm finding some details here online as I get ready to post this on the website about you made Raw stories. So you're making like all the liberal, I mean, you're building quite a resume here. Like I said, you better be careful. You might end up in higher office.
All right. Tim, thanks for calling and thanks for listening, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
515-244-0077. That's a chance for you to call in. We also have our Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. I just kind of figured to Bob and looked at him and said, we got anything on there? And you just kind of shook your head like it's nothing we want to read. I don't know. What's going on?
Well, people disagreeing that what you said, what you did was not helpful. It should not be a hate crime, does not advance our cause.
How? Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad we're getting their opinion.
No explanation other than that.
See, I thank you for doing what you do, and I don't mean that, softly, because I couldn't do what you do. See, when, and I've known Matt McCoy forever and ever and ever. We're not related. His name's spelled different. But see, I would just turn around and look at him and say, who the hell are you? How can you deny? We have a law on the books that if a pregnant woman is walking down the street and I hit her with my car and that baby dies, you charge me with manslaughter. So there it's a person, but if you decide to kill it, it's not. See, I don't get that. I don't know, Jake. I guess I'm dumb. I don't know. I don't get how they can look at a sonogram and go, oh, look, at 8 weeks, it's a boy. And look, it's moving. And oh, I can feel it. But yet you can kill it because it's your right to kill an unborn baby.
Yeah, there's no question there's a double standard out there. Look, my intent, I have a responsibility to the people of Iowa. I took an oath of office, as did all other legislators, to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Iowa. And there is no question that the Constitution...
14th Amendment,
14th Amendment. These are God-given rights granted to us and vouchsafed in that sacred document. And it is my intent to expose abortion for what it is. And as Tim pointed out, I ended my comments with the same comments that William Wilberforce ended his with. You may choose to look the other way, but never again can you say you did not know.
All right, our guest for the whole hour today is Senator Jake Chapman. It's your voice we want to hear. Mitch is coming up in a minute. Thanks for calling, Mitch. You'll be live in Mac's World in just 3 minutes, live here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed raters free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still a fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Okay, 22 minutes before the top of the hour, 4:38, Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour, and then Ask Hank. A worldwide live. We are so lucky to have this. It's a worldwide live broadcast from 5 to 6 Central Time, in which you can call in at 1-888-ASK-HANK and ask him any question you want about the Bible. And this guy, I don't think you can offend him. I've listened to this guy for almost 6 years now, and he just doesn't get offended. And he gets some pretty lively calls. Frank's called him a couple times. He hung up on Frank.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, he did hang up on Frank.
I can believe that.
But anyway, that's coming up next. All right, 515-244-0077. That's the number to call in. We've got Hutch on the line. Hutch, you're live in Mac's World. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How you guys?
Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, man.
Haven't seen you for a while. Anyway,
I'm fatter.
Well,
I still have most of my hair. It's white, but I'm fatter.
Well, I've seen pictures of you on Facebook.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, since you have a state senator there, it's kind of one of those things with the Supreme Court, not only on the national level, but the state level as well. The thing that has just got me doing my head spinning is when we have, you're talking about Roe v. Wade, and then also here in Iowa, the decision about homosexual marriage. And I'm thinking the law has not changed in either one of these situations. The Supreme Court does not make law. They offer opinions on whether something's constitutional there or not. But how come all of a sudden we're getting everything becoming law that the Supreme Court says yes, it is okay. But then they go, oh, it's the law of the land, and nobody says anything about it. Nobody does anything about it. But it is not the law.
Yeah, abortion's
Am I wrong?
not legal.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, you say, well, the Democrats are fighting us. Well, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It's still state law that a man cannot marry a man, and a woman cannot marry a woman. Am I correct?
Right, you are correct. And it's a state law that we follow the 14th Amendment, and that every single person has a God-given right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
So why hasn't anybody? And I guess my question to what's his name? Jay?
Yeah, Jake Chapman, Senator Chapman.
Yeah. Like you're talking about abortion, but I was relating that to the Roe v. Wade with the Supreme Court and the Iowa Supreme Court decision on homosexual marriage. Why doesn't the legislature say, no, it's not the law of Iowa? We're not recognizing that because the Supreme Court cannot change the law. The law is still as it always has been. So that's my question, I guess.
All right, Hutch. Hey, are you going to come up and see us sometime in the studio and sit in on the show?
Well, if I can, you can get a hold of me and we'll see what we can do.
All right, I'll have Bob get a hold of you, buddy. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, Hutch.
That's a buddy of ours. I've known him since 1978, 79. He used to be a radio guy.
Back when you were in grade school.
Yeah. And then it was Bob that worked with Hutch on this very platform back 5 or 6 years ago. And then when Hutch decided to quit his show, that's when I asked Bob to join us. So Hutch is responsible for Bob being here. So, Bob, if you don't like me, it's his fault.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, Jake, that's the question. It's not the law of the land. Why doesn't the legislature stand up and say, whoa, we can't kill babies and we can't marry homosexuals?
Yeah, it's a great question. And really what it goes to is what he's talking about is we have activist judges making law from the bench, and we have separation of powers and duties, enumerated powers, to have the legislative branch create law and the judicial branch do what they do. But to his question, look, we have tried. A number of us have tried. First of all, you can see how much the Des Moines Register likes me, particularly Reka Basu.
Congratulations. That is a badge of honor, my friend. I'm serious.
I appreciate that. But they're not going to cover anything we try to do in the legislature.
They're the newspaper that Iowa depends on.
Yeah.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, they will cover it, but they will cover it from their position. It's not that you can't get. Obviously, you can get coverage. You can get a lot of coverage.
Yeah, if you're going against what they like.
It's like the elections recently that repudiated Merkel over in Germany. They did not give proper service to why the Germans are so upset with millions of Muslims coming in and creating crime and terror in their country. The coverage they gave it was that the Nazi Party was coming back into power. That's the media spin. So you're going to get coverage, you just won't get the kind you like.
You bet. And you see what they did on my opening remarks of an amendment. Let's talk about actually doing something with these judges. They're not going to let that happen.
No.
And that's just the reality of the political spectrum you have.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, you've already said you're in the minority in the Senate. We had Senator Charles Schneider on here last week.
Sure.
I asked him the question. I'll ask you: can you take the Senate back in 2016? Something that I think has been possible before, but lack of will and resources to do it. Can you take the Senate back first? And if you can, what will you do now that you have Gronstal and the senators that stand in your way year after year to do those things goes into this black hole? What will you do on not only financial issues, but social issues?
Absolutely. I think we have a tremendous opportunity. 7 of our members, I believe, are uncontested. It's clear that the Senate Democrats are positioning themselves for a defensive campaign rather than trying to pick off some of our members. We have a tremendous opportunity to get to the majority and probably even 27, maybe even 28. But what you're getting to is ultimately the real test will come when Republicans have control of the Senate, have control of the House, and have control of the governor's office. And I can assure you that people like me and people like Senator Zahn, who stand for principle, who know why we were elected, will do everything in our power to see that some of these issues, particularly the life issue, marriage, those type of things, will get to the floor. And I believe we can get some good progress. Now the question is, within Republicans, there is a large spread as to what some Republican legislators think ought to be done with abortion, whether it be having exemptions for. But let's have that debate. And ultimately, I believe the left have so construed the debate to make it about rape, incest, and the life of the mother.
It's silly.
And it's very small, a couple percent of the abortions are that, but they want to make that it's a huge percent.
Now,
and I concede that to them. I mean, I will give up 2 or 3% of the abortions if I could get back to 97%.
Now, here's what I was told. By the way, Senator Jake Chapman, District 10, is our guest today. Here's what I was told, and it makes too much sense, that the reason they won't accept that, the what'd you call them, the exceptions?
Yeah.
Is because then the money dries up. And those that are very pro-choice and those that are very pro-life, all the people that fund them because we're rattling cages in their side, they'll stop putting money in because, well, abortion's solved. Do you think there's truth to that?
I look, there's a lot of truth to most issues we deal with. The money is behind the issues. I would hope that is not the case. That certainly is not the case in my view. It might be for some, but certainly not from my perspective. But again, we have numerous lobbyists, casinos, you name it. We have lobbyists, but there's very few that are lobbyists for the voice of the unborn.
Right. Well, let me finish up on my thought here.
10
because
seconds.
I think that for some, the fact that Democrats have controlled the Senate for years is a cover so that they don't have to do that heavy lifting we're talking about, Jake.
All right, Senator Jake Chapman is my guest, District 10. He put on a heck of a show. Not a show. He put a great speech into the legislature a couple of weeks ago in trying to get abortion as a hate crime. It makes complete sense. We'll continue to talk about that. It's your voice we want to hear here in Mac's World.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
minutes before 5 o'clock on the 22nd day of March in the Lord's year 2016. My guest, Senator Joe Chapman. Now, just know that I've got people screaming at me in typing, which means they're capital letters with exclamation points, that we cannot accept exceptions. That 1 or 2% or 3%, whatever it is, that were born from rape or incest or mother's life is in danger, that Jesus would not have rejected them. And Tim, I love you, but I don't buy it. They're going to be in Jesus' arms long before I am. I will save 98%. And I'll let those two go because they're going to be with Jesus anyway. It ends the fight. Abortion is over with in this country. What could Governor Branstad do? Supposedly he's not going to run again. What could he do in the last months of his last governorship? Couldn't he, and I don't know your business very well, but couldn't he say, I'm going to tell you right now that abortion's illegal in the state of Iowa, and I'm going to make it a governor mandate because this is what the Supreme Court said?
Sure, I think he could do some of that stuff. It certainly would end up in the court system. But I'll tell you one thing he can do and legislators can do this year, and that is in Health and Human Services budget, that we ensure not 1 cent of taxpayer money go to Planned Parenthood.
Hey, and here's my idea. Did you hear the first part of my show? So Ratchester, the guy head of the Regents.
Rastetter.
Oh, Rastetter. Yeah, okay.
He says they're $8 million short this year. $4 million goes to Planned Parenthood. Why don't we just end this fight? The University of Iowa does abortion a day over there, and that's not paid for by Planned Parenthood money. That's paid for your money and the students. So why don't we just take $4 million, give it to the Regents, and now the budget's been cut in half?
Yeah,
because you can't say
make economic sense.
Absolutely, Mike. You can't say that. Oh well, but the funding that we're giving to Planned Parenthood isn't going for abortions. It's going for their other women's health services that they're so good about, and they sell this. But you can't give me money and put it in my one pocket, Mac, and when I'm doing this other, pulling out the other. You know, it's money that goes into promoting the abortion mills that they have. The largest killer of babies in this country for decades is Planned Parenthood. And like I say, we even found out that they weren't just killing them; they're selling them.
Well, and you know, they say they're for women's health. And what's the number one killer of women in this country? Breast cancer. What's the number one test you need to take to find out if you have breast cancer?
Mammogram.
Planned Parenthood doesn't do it.
Nope, they don't do it.
They don't have one machine. Why? Why is it? Here's one of the questions I ask a lot. There's no way you can be a Democrat and follow Jesus. How do you vote for the things that Democrats vote for and then go to church on Sunday without living in a state of perpetual repentance? How do you do that?
Well, I think in all fairness, I do believe that there are some Democrats who are willing to vote on the abortion issue. But the opposition is so strong that they will not allow a vote to happen to begin with. Senator Joe Sang, Democrat, is a pro-life Democrat, but he's 25. He's number 25. And so rather than allowing a vote to come up and have several Democrats vote with Republicans, they just block the vote. They just won't allow a vote to happen. They use procedure to ensure that doesn't happen.
Now, do we do that too? Do the Republicans do that also when we're in charge?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been in that position to be. In all fairness, I'm sure Republicans play that game too, and that's what's wrong. That's why people are so fed up with politics and politicians. It really is.
Yeah, I know. I exactly know. I mean, why is Donald Trump going to be the next nominee for the Republican Party and a good chance for the president? Because we really are, to quote, who's the guy from the NRA? You know, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Oh, no, that was broadcast news.
Yeah, right.
Charleston Heston.
But look at the deal, Mac. Back when Bush was a lame duck president, Biden and the rest of them stepped up and said, we're not going to vote. We're not even going to entertain a Supreme Court nominations put up here in the last year of George W. Bush. I don't remember hearing that much in the media, but now that grass Grassley and McConnell stepped up and said the same thing. Why, you think that the nation has never had such an affront?
You know what makes me sad sometimes? Well, no, let me turn this around. You know what I'm very thankful for? That I've done nothing to deserve the grace that God has given me. And I know that those people who sit on the other side of the aisle from you, at the last moment before they take their last breath, they can call out to Jesus. And the blood he shed on the cross this Friday is enough. He doesn't have any more blood. That's the grace we receive. But there's a really ugly part of me, I admit it. It's an ugly part of me. That if you vote for something so immoral that it says in the Bible, that shall not kill, it says in the Constitution, this is a person, you don't get any grace. But then Jesus' blood was only shed for a few and not all. And so it just frustrates me so much. And I told Jake, I've shared this on the air before, I'm not pro-life because I'm a Christian. I've been pro-life since I was 18 years old. Because when I was 18, I found the mother who gave birth to me in 1959. We have a relationship today, a good relationship. And she clearly told me that if Roe versus Wade had been the law in 1958, when I was conceived, I wouldn't be here. So I can't, for me, that's the best reason to fight for life. And to have, and if I have to have an exception to save 97 or 98, man, I just can't believe that Jesus would just love that, because he says, I'll bring the others home. I'll bring the others home. You save those. At the least, Jake, why can't somebody who gets an abortion have to file the proper paperwork, and if they don't, the abortionist does the abortion and the paperwork's not filed, and that paperwork is they admit to manslaughter. Just like a person who would hit a pregnant woman and the baby would die. They admit to manslaughter and they go to court for it. They're going to pay the price for their selfishness.
I would contend it's more than manslaughter. It's premeditated. It's not a matter of you're acting out of a situation. You're premeditating. And oftentimes you're preparing that woman 24, 48 hours in advance of that procedure even happening. So it's definitely premeditated. It's very unfortunate that we find ourselves in a situation where our government has sanctioned the murder of 56 million plus.
I hear it's over 60, but still.
Yeah, but it's incredible, and they don't like
more than Hitler.
Yeah, they don't like the informed consent laws, guys. I mean, and this is what we're striving to do, is get more women to understand what's really going on, and that's where they really rail against these kind of laws, that because they want to keep them ignorant and in the dark, and they're easily manipulated. Then once they find out that that's a baby in there, not a lump of tissue, whoa, hold it. Let me have another thought on this.
All right, Jake Chapman up for re-election. How can people support you? What's your website?
VoteJakeChapman.com.
All right, go. This is the good guy. I don't know if everything he stands for is good, but this is really good. And I hope you choose to support him either with your vote if you live in that area or with your dollar if you don't. Until we see each other tomorrow, remember, tonight, go home, forgive. Forgive people. Because as you forgive, you will be forgiven. I'll see you in church. Remember, he is risen.